Hey everyone, welcome back to the Winner's Circle. I'm Derrick.
And I'm Cody.
And we are here with two BBCAN legends. We've been talking about BB Canada all season. So we wanted to bring two legends on to kind of get their thoughts on the season so far. Sometimes you don't agree with us. And then for most of the show, we're going to do what you guys really want to hear about, probably what the thumbnail and the title is.
Got you here on.
We're going to cover you guys, and we're going to talk about 8 BBCAN players and 8 BBUS players. We're going to put them in a house. You guys are going to let us know who would win. We know who we think would win. We've been doing a little shit talking before we started, but we're going to let you guys weigh in. So before we get started, let's introduce these guys in case you don't know who they are, okay? First, we have Emmett Blois. What season were you on, Emmett?
Season 1, man, the OG. We didn't even know if the season was going to go. I was waiting for people to come in, knock on the door, and be like, fuck it, no one's watching, time to go home.
Emmett was an absolute beast. Emmett and I have been friends for years. Cody and Emmett are friends as well. They actually hit the gym today. Then we got my man, someone I've been a fan of since watching him on his season, Bruno. How do you say your last name, Bruno? Lelo?
Aiello.
Aiello. I was kind of close.
Yeah,
that wasn't
close.
bad.
You almost sound out every letter. I-E-L-O. Aiello.
And you were on 2 seasons, Bruno. What seasons were you on?
I was on season 3 and season 5. So season 3 was the first one that when it hit global, and then season 5, obviously a couple seasons later.
Right. So you guys know the show, but before we get into it, Cody, I got to always tee it up to you. What am I about to say? What are you about to go to bed him with?
Listen, everybody that's in here that really hasn't been in and maybe just saw Emmett post about this or Bruno post about this, what we really need you to do is when you get to the Winner's Circle YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button. It costs you $0, but it is very important to us. And right next to that subscribe button, there's a little bell notification. I'm gonna need you to tap that. I'm gonna need you to hit all so that every time we are putting out a random video like this, because this is outside of the realm of when we usually post, you guys aren't missing out on a video. And we also would love for you to comment down below whether you agree with us, whether you don't agree with us. Keep it clean, because guess what? We love hiding people from the channel. And so if you want to be hidden for life, you can go ahead and comment something nasty. And if you guys are listening in on audio, please give us a 5-star review if you feel that it is what we deserve, and leave a comment, because that all helps us, and we appreciate you being here.
Okay, well said. Let's get into it. BBCAN 10. We're a little bit more than halfway through the season. Emmett, I'm going to start with you. What do you think of the season so far? What's some of your general takeaways?
Well, just to be totally honest, every prediction that I made at the beginning of the year was wrong. So when we first went to season,
go the other way with that.
No, honestly, man, I had high hopes in a lot of people that are no longer there, and it just
Who are some of those?
Honestly, the Kyle Shore guy. When I read his bio and saw the first couple episodes, I was like, you know what, this guy's got great social skills. I think he's going to blend in really well, and I think a lot of people are going to like him. I think he's going to go far. Also, I thought Moose was going to do really well. Super bubbly, fun guy. He was friends with everyone. I was like, okay, if I had to put money on it, these guys are going to go deep. What do we know? Kyle has one of the worst Big Brother appearances ever, and then Moose just walked out the fucking door. So, bang, bang, boom. Don't put your money where I tell you to. So, but I'll say it's been entertaining. It's been entertaining. And But did you guys see tonight's episode? The Wednesday's episode?
We have not. We're always like a day behind because we if we don't have the VPN on, we got to catch it when it gets posted.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
so it'll get posted tomorrow for us, so we'll watch that tomorrow and get caught up.
What do you think of Kevin's gameplay so far?
Okay, Kevin is someone that we wouldn't do well in the house together. Kevin is, and you guys probably don't remember this, but Kevin's like the Neil of my season. He's a weasel. And week 3, I was like, you're fucking done, bud. I was like, we kicked him out of the house week 3. So that's all. It's frustrating for me to watch it. I actually got up tonight because Jackie's a super fan. We watched it live tonight here. And
I think we hit our cap for F words, Emmett.
Oh, whoops, sorry.
I think we hit our cap for the F.
I actually left the show tonight because I was mad. I was upset how it ended up. Yeah.
Okay. Really? I love that. Okay, I'm excited to watch.
Yeah, I'm done.
So, moral of the story, Emmett's not a fan of Kevin.
Nope.
Bruno, what do you think of the season so far? Overall takeaways, how you think it's going, how it stacks up against other seasons. Who's some of your favorites? Who do you think might win this season? All that good stuff.
Right. So the way I look at the season, man, I got to be honest, man. I never try to talk, smack about, the house. I don't see many game players, to be very, very honest with you. I feel like this is a season without many, many game players. If you're HOH, basically you're blowing up your own alliance. You're taking out your own friends. It's just been a disaster. I kind of agree. I gotta tell you, man. I got to agree with Emmett on the Kevin thing. Okay, now and it's funny how you say like he reminds you of like Anil from your season. He reminds me of JP from my first season. Someone that goes in thinks they're doing this and that. But when you're in the house, and here's the thing, man. Now we're viewers at home, so we have all the answers in front of us, right? And it's very easy to piece it together. So it's like obviously he's gonna do that. Obviously he's gonna do that. When you're in the house, you don't have those answers in front of you. You don't have that cheat sheet, so it is a little harder when you're in the house. But someone that walks around like that and he's trying to be this, you could tell, man, like this guy's up to no good. And I think if there was better game players in the house, he would have been figured out a lot earlier. So I feel like that's giving him that little bit of that pass to get.
I said I don't like. He's not someone who I get along with, but I do think he's doing well in his environment. He's doing very well. Definitely. I'll give him that. Yeah, he's playing great. You know what I mean? But he's someone in my season who I would like. Break this guy.
Yeah.
I'm in the same boat.
Bruno,
I'm in the same boat.
I had a question for you because what I didn't know, but I found out from the Alliance, my Twitch family, was that there was a player on this season that finds themselves on your Twitch streams quite a bit. And that player is Jess.
That's right.
And so what did you think of somebody that is obviously watching your streams, probably loves chatting it up, Big Brother, with you? How did you think Jess did when she entered the Big Brother Canada house?
Yeah, so let me tell you, let me explain it. So I knew Jess applied. I didn't know Jess made it on the show. Jess kind of just disappeared. But they'd always be in my stream being like, can we watch another episode of Big Brother? Because we were doing BBCAN 3 and BBCAN 5. I don't know which one we were doing at the time. And Jess would always come in like, yo, can we watch more Big Brother tonight? Now, she was taking notes and always, and I'll tell you something, man, they were asking a lot of questions. Like Jess was always asking questions. What would you do here? What would happen here? And I had no idea. So I was just kind of, answering my opinion, giving my opinion. And I know Jess was taking notes. So it was really cool to see Jess on the show. Obviously, I was cheering for them because, they're part of the family, part of the community, So I was definitely cheering for Jess. I think it was a hard run because week 1 they were put up on the block, and then you know how it is. It's kind of like an uphill battle. I mean, there was definitely messy parts of their game, and I keep it honest as I got to keep it honest. It was messy. It was very, 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 very messy, and it was neat to watch, but it was tough to watch at the same time.
So, do you think that Jess molded her game around a lot of the information that you gave her?
No.
Are you sure about that?
No.
Are you sure
I was
about
answering.
That?
Yeah. Okay. I was given. Now, here's the thing I got to say, man. You can always, you can lead. You can give answers, but at the end of the day, when you walk in that house, you got to play your own game. So the information is there. And one thing I always say, and this is something I talk about all the time. When we talk Big Brother and stuff, especially when like the bios come out and everyone starts, oh, this person's gonna do awesome. This person, it's like everybody has a plan, and I think Mike Tyson said the best. Everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face. So you can have this plan going into the house. As soon as you walk into that house, you're now face to face with 15 people that have their own plan, their own motivations, their own reason they're going to win, and what they want to do, and you have to kind of work your way around that as well. So you see these bios, and everyone's like, oh, this person's going to do well. Well, you know what? It's another thing too when you're reading these bios is they have a camera in their face. They're hyping themselves up. It's totally different environment. Once they walk in the house, sometimes people shell up. They turtle up because maybe they're introverts or whatever it is. Who knows what the situation is? But a lot of times you see these people come in with a big game plan, and then when they get there, they kind of just, throw it out the window. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The game is definitely different than most people think. I said it, I went on my one season. Cody's been on twice. Even for me, everyone said, oh, your season went pretty smooth for you. I was completely overwhelmed. By day 40, I was like contemplating, do I want to like leave this house? Because it really is a lot more mentally draining than you can imagine. Whatever you're sitting at home right now thinking it is, magnify that by another 10 because it's a very difficult game. And I do think that some people, it's one thing to be sitting at home, having a 360-degree perspective of the house, watching the live feeds and thinking, I could do that. But once you're in there, and that element of paranoia kicks in that you cannot replicate unless you're actually in there, unless you're in that room wondering what people are saying about you in the other room. it's really something you have to experience to understand. So I don't fault anybody who goes in there and tries their best and ultimately gets caught up in the game and then ends up tripping over themselves and gets out, because I think that shows people on the outside how hard Big Brother really is. I think sometimes people think it's an easy game to play. It is not.
Yeah, I call it the Bruce Lee analogy, right? You watch all the Bruce Lee videos in the world, every movie. You never miss anything. You practice his moves. And then you get in front of somebody. That doesn't mean that you're just going to whoop their ass like Bruce Lee does. And a lot of people watch Big Brother and they think like, oh, I see Derrick go in that room and manipulate that person. I could easily do that. And they get in the room and they talk to a person and the person literally walks out and goes, they just lied the entire time. That was so easy to sift out. And it's not easy to do. Like what you said, when, everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face. Like you can prepare all you want, but when you get in there, it's a very hard game.
Yeah. And I say the same thing you say. People go in, they'll be like, oh, you just go in, I'm going to go in, I'm going to form a 4-person alliance, a 6-person. What if nobody wants to talk to you? What if nobody trusts you? What if nobody likes you? That's just the reality. So you can go in, you want to make a 6-person alliance, you go in the house and you're by yourself. That happened. It's just that's the reality of the situation. So yeah, for sure.
I think studying for Big Brother is a waste of time, because I think it's ridiculous, because every fucking time you go into the season, it's always going to be different.
I'm going to have to bleep out. You're making my life so much harder.
Oh, sorry, man. Sorry. Okay. I think it's a waste of time.
You're cutting this a check for this episode.
Yeah. I think it's a waste of time because not only is everything different every season, but here's the thing. It's a social game. So the people who excel, and Cody and I were chatting about this today, people who excel in the outside world socially, they're going to excel in the house socially. But then it becomes to like a certain aspect. You'll see some people that are like, maybe they don't have a social awareness. They do okay in the social settings because maybe some people don't, let them know like, hey, that's a little too much. When they get in the Big Brother house, they get told because they get the boot, right? But there's some people who just like, I'll use Jess for an example, just because we're talking about her now. I think some people, I think a lot of times, like she wanted to prove a point more than she wanted to win the game. And I think she had some few arguments, whether it was about the pronouns or whatever. At the end of the day, it's like you come in to win the game, not to win single arguments. So to me, I'll lose every small argument along the way as long as I win the one at the end. So it's a lot of people don't realize that. Yeah. So it's about the war, not the the little battles.
No, not the little battles. It's a great point. Yeah. Well, we'll May 5th coming up fast. That's the finale. So quickly weigh in, both you guys. I want your picks. Now, Emmett, you said you've been wrong all season. Here's your chance at redemption. Okay. Yep. You know who's left in the house. How do you see this playing out? Who ends up winning BBCAN 10 in your opinion?
In my opinion, the person that is playing the hardest now would be Kevin. He's tonight. I don't want to blow things up for you guys. Do you mind if I tell you kind of what happened to give you a little quick scenario?
Yeah, you kind of can, because this is coming out tomorrow, so it's not a big deal.
All right. Tonight they did the gummy bear analogy. Basically, Gino had the option to not go on the block. Marty told him basically, hey, like, I won't put you into this draw. You can stay out of it unless you want to. Kevin fought to be like, hey, I don't want you to put me on the block. Gino basically volunteered to be like, hey, you can put my name in there. So to me, you got to want this. You got to play for it. And it bothers me when people won't play for it. Like, you got to fight. What are you even doing there, man? Like, what are you doing? Like, as much as I don't like I would hope that I would see Kevin's game. I do admire that he's the one playing hard every day. He's going around and grinding and building relationships and doing those things. So, you know what I mean? So I can't see a scenario where he doesn't sit there on finale night, and if he gets there, he's going to have such a massive resume. He's just got to win a few comps between now and then, and he's going to have, he single-handedly kind of had his hand in almost everyone going home. So, I mean, I can't see anyone else winning besides him unless someone gives him the boot in the next couple of weeks, and he's fighting for it, so I don't see it happening. What about you, Bruno?
I always feel like usually the best player doesn't win. I'm not saying he's the best player or the worst player, but I feel like this. I don't know. I don't even know why. I could see like a Helena winning. I don't even know why. I feel like Helena. Josh has always been my lead runner. Here's the thing. I'm not going to say Helena's doing like this incredible job. I'm not trying to, build. I'm not saying she is or she isn't. I'm just saying you got to look at emotions. You got to look at who her friends are in the jury, or whoever's friends are in the jury, because that's what it comes down to. And I'll be honest with you. I mean, I knew I don't want to talk about my season too much, but let's say season 3, I knew depending who was sitting in the final 2, if they won, if they deserved it or not, I already knew who won the season, and because their friends were in jury. So it's like, it all depends. If your friends are in jury, they're not going to vote against you if the other person deserves it or not. That's just the way the game works. It's an emotional game. And I think if Helena makes it to the final 2 and she has enough friends in jury, I think she can take it. I see Josh. I always said Josh. I've said Josh for a long time. He's still there. So I got to keep that energy. I think Josh, so Josh is my OG pick. I was like, yo, this guy's got it. But if I were to look right now, I'd say it's a mix between Helena and Josh. I would say Helena if she makes it.
That's interesting that you say that, because the 3 people you're referring to are in the crash test dummies. They're all in an alliance together, and Helena and Kevin are very close, and Josh and Kevin are very close. So what you're talking about here is a potential huge backstab where Josh and Helena realize they're super close with Kevin, probably couldn't have gotten to that point without him, but now have to stab him in the back in order to win, because if they sit next to him, they have to know they're going to lose. They have to know they're going to lose, because he's already starting to build a little bit of a resume. Nobody really hates him. I don't think they love him. So that could be interesting to watch. But I think we all agree that it's Kevin's game to win, although his game hasn't been completely under the radar. There's been multiple people that have called him out for being a snake. I mean, multiple people have done it. Yeah. So they're going to have to decide, is he a big enough target to take out? But I agree with both of you. I think that it's going to be someone... when you think about the gamers left in the house, Kevin's definitely, just purely on gaming perspective, is definitely the front runner. Yeah. But there are some people who are starting to pick up the pace a little bit. Helena, Josh being 2 of them. Even Betty just won a veto. We haven't had great things to say about Betty this season. Nothing personal, but we just don't think she's that great of a player. Yeah. But if she's able to win a couple comps near the end, she doesn't like Kevin. She'll gladly put him on the block. Right. So you could have something where a Betty pulls off a dub for an HOH and throws up Helena and Kevin. And if that's the case and they stay on the block, Kevin's going home.
And here's the thing too, there's we know there's a triple coming up, right?
That's right.
So that veto is everything right now. That veto can literally flip the game upside down. I mean, we could be talking the 3 people we just mentioned. I mean, obviously one of them won't be going home, but we could literally lose 2 of those people after the eviction this week. That's just the way it is. So that triple is massive, because people don't want to waste that opportunity. If you can take 2 big players out at once, boom, boom, with no repercussion, just kind of see you later kind of thing, that might be the time people are like, yo, this is when we have to do it, or when else are we going to be able to do this? And that's one big thing I always say playing. It's like when people say, oh, we don't have the numbers to get this person out. And it's like, well, if we don't have the numbers today, how are we going to have those numbers next week or the week after kind of thing? So again, anything can happen. I mean, we could see Kevin walking out next week. We could see Kevin winning the show. That's the beauty of the game. You just don't know until we know.
And the way,
that's a great point.
The way the competitions are set up, like Big Brother likes to even the playing field. It is literally set up to turn things over and over again. So every week's a bit of a crapshoot. I think Cody, Derrick, you guys both won. No one wins with a little bit of luck. You can play perfect, but at some point, you need to have some luck on your side. Like you can't go in there. Yeah. You know what I mean? There's one
I know the
moment
exact
or another.
point.
Yeah. So I didn't even win it, and I know the point where I had a few moments where I was like, that was just lucky. Otherwise maybe
I know the exact 2 moments where the luck struck the other way against me, man. I was like, man, I could use some of that luck.
It's interesting you bring that, because I didn't think about it till you just said it, but you think about the competitions this season. There's obviously been a couple endurance comps where they were hanging on the wall that one time, but for the most part, the comps are about balance, strategy, puzzle solving.
Always a puzzle involved in it too. It's not just like one strength thing. It's I love that about Big Brother Canada. I love the competitions we talk about this week in and week out. And the competitions are really like very well rounded, where it's not just like, the one Big Brother US competition that is like pretty much all athleticism, where you got to roll the ball up the one hill and then get to the other side before it rolls down. And you got to do it 200 times. That's like straight athleticism and endurance. You haven't seen anything like that on Big Brother Canada. So I think it evens the playing field, which I love. But Big Brother Canada has so many fun things that I like, as opposed to some of the Big Brother US things. And competitions, in my opinion, is one of them that I really enjoy a lot more.
100%.
I like BBCAN. I got Cody hooked on BBCAN this year.
Yeah.
It's
being
listen,
a BBCAN
and I don't wanna...
player, it's nerve-wracking. And being an athletic guy, it's nerve-wracking going into the challenge, just because I just know that being athletic isn't enough. And each challenge always has some level of luck to it, because they want to flip the house over and over, week over week.
Right.
Like the production loves that.
Done that this year.
Yeah.
Bruno,
what were we going to say?
One thing, the one thing I want to say is it's and it's perception with a lot of players that go in. You see like a guy like Emmett, he's shredded. The guy and Cody, you guys are shredded, And so they walk in the house to take off their shirt. I mean, not me, man. Trust me, it's these two. But,
all you guys are shredded.
So and they take off their shirt and everyone's like, we got to get rid of those guys. They're cut.
I'm shredded.
They're athletic. They're this. They're that. But that and like Cody said, it's the and Emmett said, the competitions are so spread out. To do an AB questionnaire, you don't need big biceps. You know what I mean? Your memory, remember the days. AB. There's ones where you got to stand on a platform. There's ones where you got to be athletic. But the way that Big Brother Canada at least does it is, it's not all athleticism. It's not all athletic competitions. There's a lot of puzzles. There's a lot of AB questions. There's a lot of, we even had Plenko, like random luck, there's so many different ones. Roll a ball, it bounces off of 18 things and it lands in a random number. It doesn't matter how big your arms are. But the problem is, if you walk in with the muscles, like, like Emmett has or whatever, I should say myself, but anyway, like you walk in and you're shredded. They look at you like, we got to get that guy out. He's a comp beast. Well, in reality, the comps are so spread
Bruno.
out.
You're hitting my favorite point, bro.
The comps are so spread out. It doesn't matter if you have muscles. It doesn't matter if you have a 70 pack. You know what I mean? Like a 15 pack like you guys have. You know what I mean? It's like, I never understood that.
With you. And I think it's because I guess I fall into that category, which is annoying because I never viewed myself as that until I got a little older and put on weight, because I, in high school and college, was like soaking wet 125 to 140 pounds. Like I was like the skinniest dude ever. I wasn't like jacked. I wasn't muscular. I was just a twig that played soccer. And so then I gained a little bit of weight because I was, I was boozing a little bit after college. No big deal. And so I put on some weight, and then I get into the house and it's like, oh, he's athletic. And I'm looking at these competitions. I'm like, guys, I was a soccer player. I'm not running like the one soccer comp on Big Brother 16 was like a foot kick like mechanism that had nothing to do with soccer. So everybody's like, oh, you should have won that one. And I was like, what are you talking about? Like I can use this slingshot thing the same as you.
Right.
And so they always view that. And that's one of my least favorite stereotypes that go into Big Brother. It's like, oh, I'm going after the jocks, or I'm going after the muscular like guys or athletic guys or girls. And I'm like, for what reason? The athletic people usually don't win the wall comp. The athletic people aren't like running circles around stuff. And like, there's no weightlifting competition. So there's like a puzzle aspect. There's like, I guess maybe a slight agility aspect, but it's really all mental and how composed you can stay. And that could be anybody. It doesn't matter what you look like.
100%.
I think that was a great point. I love that. I was waiting for that to be said. I love that, Bruno.
All right. So let's get into why we're here. Let's get into why this is important, why this podcast is going to be one for the ages and everyone has to tune in, because since I played, all I've heard about is, yeah, you guys are good, but I'm telling you right now, BB Canada would wreck you guys. If it was BBUS versus BB Canada, it would be a slaughter. You don't know about Emmett and Bruno and John Party and Netta and all these great players that you guys have up there. And to be fair to you guys, you're only in season 10 right now.
Right.
And we have 23 seasons to choose from. So there's a bigger pool there for sure. So to make it as fair as we can, and it's, not perfect, we talked beforehand, and basically we told Emmett and Bruno that they get to pick 8 players, 4 men, 4 women. We're going to do the same. We cannot pick ourselves, and it can be from any season for whatever reason you want. And we're going to have our opinions on the 2 teams. Like I said, 8 US, 8 Canada, 16 people in a house. But ultimately, you, on YouTube, on audio, you're going to decide. So you can weigh down in the comments. Let us know who you think would win. If you're on audio, why don't you head over to our Instagram? We're going to have a poll up there. You can click there, let us know who you'd win, or you can just comment on the audio podcast and let us know what you think. But we're going to have our opinions. Ultimately, you guys decide who is going to win the competition, BBUS versus BBCAN. We'll go 1 for 1, guys, and we're going to let you guys go first because you're the away team. You can start with a guy or a girl. We're going to match you 1 for 1 so people really understand, and maybe we'll even match you based on who you pick, who we would match up with them. But ultimately, it's 8 versus 8.
Which, Derrick,
right,
you're going to have to help
good.
me out because I've watched one Big Brother Canada season.
Yeah.
Okay.
You only got to watch
Bruno,
3 and 5. That's all you got to watch.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Emmett. You go ahead, man. You started up.
All right. Do you want? Let's pick a female. I'll say her because she was on my season. I'm gonna say Jillian McLaughlin. She's a huge comp piece, but I think she is a little bit underrated with her social skills. She did do fairly, really well in that aspect, and basically won half the HOH comps during the season. So someone that if they were walking down the stairs and you were in the house, you should be a little scared.
100%.
Jillian's a great player.
Yeah,
Player.
That was the first one we said right away was Jillian, 100%.
Yeah.
I believe she's the best woman to play, I would say. Yeah.
Well, it's interesting you say she's the best woman to play because I don't know if I'm speaking for Cody here because we hadn't discussed this part, but I'm going to tell you who I think is the best woman to ever play BBUS. Cody, if you don't agree, you can say it. But personally, as far as complete game and one of the best competitors, bar none, I got to go with Casey Clark. Casey Clark is an absolute animal. Casey Clark won her season already. She played 1 time. She's also gone on MTV's The Challenge, won that as well with CT. And she has a great social game. She blends in with everyone. Nobody truly dislikes her. She's good with everyone. And as far as competitions were concerned, never mind best woman competitor, she was smoking the dudes.
Yeah.
She's that good. She was a professional, or she might even still be a professional football player in the Women's Football League.
Yeah.
She's a beast. So I think that's a good matchup. Casey Clark versus Jillian McLaughlin. They're not going head up every week, but that's a nice pairing there, I think, as far as the athletes. Your best female versus our best female.
I like that. So when you're
I think it'd be good.
Casey's incredible.
When you're looking at players, are you looking strictly like competition, social, strategic? Like what's your points to get them in?
So I'll go first and then Derrick can follow it up. I think it's a combination of social is about 40% for me.
Right.
Strategy is about 40%. And then competitions are about 20%. Casey was literally one of the most liked in the entire house so that nobody viewed her. She was always on the right side of everything. And she didn't get the mastermind edit because that went to Tyler Crispin. But she was also so strategically involved in so much. And I only found this out because Tyler would talk to me about how heavily involved Casey was. So I know she had strategy. Everybody loved her. In the social game, Tyler would talk about that. And then the competitions, there was just no question about her. So that's how I don't know how Derrick's going to say he weighs it, but that's my way. That's what I was telling Emmett earlier. I kind of view it that way because it's very important to have a social game, but very important to have strategy to go along with it. And you see people that throw competitions, but I do think there's an aspect to that that's important. So that's why I kind of dropped that percentage a little bit.
I love that you say that because one of the women that we picked, I have that exact same view that you said. It's the social part to me is so important. It's so important. And being able to be in a room and people are welcoming you in a room. If you're welcome in every single room, that's a part of the game that people do not understand. Because a lot of times you'll walk in a room, people will be they'll look at you what are you doing here? If you can walk in a room, people are yo, come join the conversation. That's a massive part of the game that people do not understand or see when they're watching at home. And that's why one of the people, one of our women on the list, I gotta say is that's why it was one of them that we picked. Was just that simple fact that they were welcome.
Stop
every
teasing us, Bruno. Who is it?
Yeah,
all
who's
right.
the person?
Number 2, you want to go?
Yeah.
You guys done with Casey?
Yeah, no, we'll hit him quick. We got 16 to go through. So
I just want to throw one little comment in there, and we were talking a little bit about Bruce Lee before this. Bruce Lee says, "What do you fear more, the man that is good at 1,000 different kicks, or the one that has perfected the one kick?" And he always said the person that has perfected the one kick. So I think you got to throw in there someone that is just an absolute beast at one thing that's going to throw an absolute curveball. Because, maybe their social skills aren't perfect.
Might be a teaser here, guys.
But they're going to just cause an absolute destruction on one side of it or not. So go ahead, Bruno.
You guys pick who you want, Emmett. We're going to pick who we want. Don't try to influence us, okay?
All right, so the second woman I want to talk about, and we were saying someone that's always welcome in every room, invited in every conversation. They walk in, it's like, yo, come join us. I gotta say, Paris, man, such an underrated player is Paris. She won season 6, so likable. I gotta say, one of the most underrated players, one of my favorite winners of all time, Paris, 100%, hands down. Again, like I say, just being welcomed in the room, having that social game, it's that brings it that far. To me, Paris is super underrated and deserves another shot.
Cody, hit him with ours.
So this person I think is, so I would have said this person would probably have been our best female. But then again, it's like, and I say that of the 4, I think all 4 of these women that we've picked are out of control. I think they would just crush for a number of different reasons. But somebody who I thought was incredible, which was robbed of winning. She was robbed because of how the show was produced, and she should 1,000,000% be a winner. And that is Danielle Reyes. And the reason why I love Danielle Reyes is because she should have won season 3. 2, she found herself in the hot seat in the first week of season 7, which was an all-star season, which was a star-studded cast. And like her like conscious ability to understand her surroundings and know what she needed to do in that scenario, which could go opposite for a lot of people. Like, my game is blowing up and now I'm going to ruin everything. I'm going to be really hectic. Showed how really composed this player is. And I think Danielle Reyes is easily the best, if not one of the best women that has ever played Big Brother US. I don't know about Big Brother Canada because I haven't really watched, but there was a point you just made, Bruno, and you said, when a person walks into the room and they're welcomed in any room that they walk into, that is a big aspect because that's social. But there's another aspect, and it's when anybody walks in a room and one player makes them always feel welcome, no matter who it is. I think that's more important because everybody remembers and votes for the person that made them always feel like they were never an outcast.
100%.
And I feel like Danielle Reyes kind of holds a little bit of that because she's just like, she knew how to talk to anybody no matter what. Even if she knew you hated her, she was like, all right, I'm going to talk to you and I'm going to make you think I'm your best friend and I'm going to absolutely backstab you because she's ruthless.
And Danielle does make you, when you meet her, we met her multiple times in person. She's so inviting. Her social game is ridiculous. But I'll also say I had the fortunate pleasure of meeting Paris as well. And she's amazing too. Like I had just met her, nicest, sweetest girl in the world. But I remember watching her on the show and she had plans. She was definitely in there to win. Super smart. I believe she's got a law degree, right?
Yeah. She's like, super smart.
Yeah. Like super smart. Like she knows what she's doing, but also, again, just like Danielle, very inviting. Like, even though you just met her, she had just won right before that, and she was super humble and super nice to hang out with. So I see it. I can definitely see it. It's funny that we picked those two players because they have a lot in common.
Yeah, Danielle Reyes is an absolute beast. Amazing player. One of my favorites of all time. Absolutely. Yeah.
All right. Next up for you guys, if you want to keep going with the women, you can go with the women, or you can go a guy. Doesn't matter. We're going to match you play for player.
All right, Emmett.
Let's switch it up and go to the men.
All right, let's do it.
Let's go 2 guys here. All right, number 1.
You go 2 and then we'll go 2.
Yeah. No, we'll go 1. You go 1. We'll go 1 for 1. I like this. I got it written down here, kind of going head to head here. All right,
and
number 1.
Don't you tell me we're gonna do it. Don't you try to tell me what to do.
Sorry. I'm never getting invited back. I swear too much and I try to be too controlling.
No, absolutely not.
No,
that's not true.
Get out of here.
Not true.
All right. This guy's been on twice. He's a beauty. He's a super smart guy. And again, I do believe that being on multiple times, you do learn from mistakes, and he does get better every time every time he's gone on. He's gotten better as the season's gone on. So it's Kevin Martin. I think he's going to be a threat to anyone that he plays against. And everyone should be a little fearful if that guy walks in the house.
Kevin's a beast. One of my favorite BBCAN players. Obviously, I don't have to run down the resume. And again, for a living, we were saying this a little bit before it started, even though I was weighing in. And Cody's like, stop weighing in.
But by the way, shout out to Derrick for literally mentioning names also. But I don't want to take away from these guys. Emmett and Bruno had them all written down too. So it wasn't. But I was still pissed because you were like, giving him. I was like, what are we doing here?
Kevin strategizes for a living. So, I mean, if I think about it, like if we're really playing this out, if he comes back, he's a problem. He's a problem for the house. I know if I was in there, I'd be very concerned about him because he's a social guy. He's super smart. And he proved in his returning season that if he gets his back against the wall, he can win comps if he has to, which is kind of the trifecta. But I do think we have someone who could go toe-to-toe with him. I do.
Who you got?
And that person needs really no introduction. That's Dan Giesling. I mean, what are we talking about here? You know?
That we'll just.
Why
we'll
was
just
that
leave it
smirk
there.
for, Emmett? What's that smirk for, Emmett? I mean, there's really not much to say about Dan. Great social player. Can win comps when he has to. Super smart. Great strategist. Has had his back against the wall numerous times and almost won twice.
Arguably should have won twice.
Yeah,
if it wasn't for a winner versus a non-winner.
Yeah, honestly, he should have won the game twice. And I do think Dan is underrated. Like, everyone gives him all this praise for a social game, but the guy's an athlete. I don't think a lot of people realize that. You know what I mean? So I think he is very underrated in his ability to win comps, but he was just so good that he never had to. So, like, he is... Yeah, he
knew the game. He threw a ton of stuff.
This guy was part of his strategy.
I follow him on social. He runs like every single day. He's running miles every day. He's definitely a complete player.
Yeah, he's a
complete player.
Package,
so
yep.
So that's our pick.
Solid pick.
Back to you guys. Yeah.
All right, Bruno.
You came out with fire, so we had to come back with it.
All right, here's another one. This is actually one of my favorite players, period. American, Canadian, doesn't matter. The winner of BBCAN 7, Dane Rupert. This guy is an absolute beast. Like, this guy, when you say full package, this guy is a full package. Competitor, social game. He's just the social game on this guy is top notch. Everyone likes him. He's goofy. He's funny. He doesn't come across threatening, but he's super athletic. He knows what he's doing. Dane is by far my favorite Canadian player, period. Nobody comes close. Personally, for me, I think Dane is the best we've ever seen.
Never nominated, right? Never nominated. Unanimous win.
Yeah, the guy was unstoppable, man. Like, the guy was incredible. You talk to the guy, he's just got, like, again, welcoming. He's goofy. He's funny. He makes you feel comfortable. You're not, that is such a good trait to have. And the guy can turn it up, and loyal. That's what you need in this game, is loyalty. You have, if someone's got you, they got you. You need that. You need that in this game. And that's 100%, to me, the best player that's ever played in Canada, period.
What was their alliance? Was that the Pretty Boy alliance?
The most dominant.
He had a bigger alliance that he was kind of shelled by and protected. He had some big dudes in that. You're right. He's definitely the complete package for sure.
Yeah. Dane's the real deal for sure.
I think the one on our side that can really match up to that one, and it's because you said he's a winner. So I want to give you another winner on our side that was, again, I think, complete package, because he was in one of the best alliances that was ever created in Big Brother, in the Brigade. He won a ton of competitions. He was loved by the guys because he was a bro, and then he was loved by the women because he flirted with all of them, and they just were like, because he's a stud. And that's Hayden Moss. Yeah. He is one of, in my opinion, he was somebody that I was really hoping would be on All-Stars when I went, because I was like, I could get along with this guy. And I got, Enzo, who I'm so grateful for. He's one of the most incredible guys that I know. But Hayden Moss was a guy that was in this alliance. They knew when to cut the ties with one of their alliance members, which was ruthless. So he knows he is very aware of the game. He knows how to win, and he won out the whole back end of the comp and put himself into the finals, and then ultimately just clean sweeped it and took it home. And so I think Hayden Moss is such an incredibly well-rounded guy, but he wasn't in the DR for his strategy. He was just in the DR a lot because he was the guy that was always winning, was always involved in who was going home because of the Brigade. And so his strategy didn't really get to shine through in the edit, but it's like he was a very intelligent guy that I think had checked all the boxes as well.
I think
I think he's one of the most underrated players on the American side for sure. Again, like you say, and we won't get too far ahead of ourselves, but that's the next guy. You literally nailed the next guy to a T, where it's like everyone wants to be your friend. The girls love you, the guys love you. You have that like magnetism to you. Again, another trait that you don't, unless you're in that house with them, and it's like you don't feel it, but you got to feel that magnetism they have, that charisma they have, and it goes a long, long, long way. And yeah, I agree, he's super, super underrated. Yeah, good pick.
All right, hit us with your next one. You can go female, male, whatever you guys want to do.
You want to jump over to the females?
Whatever you want, buddy. You're up.
Females?
Yeah, sure.
All right. Number 3. Again, you have to have that social presence. I think Cody mentioned before, he's like, I think you said it was 40, 20 or something
20.
like. Yeah, 40,
Yeah.
40, 20.
I do math. It's easy. You know?
Yeah, I think Netta is who we're taking here because she had such a strong control over the house on her season in season 2. We just saw that kind of, she was with John, who, won a lot of comps, but we saw it in the edit that she was controlling what was going on behind the scenes. And she's someone in there that doesn't matter what's going on in there. She always knows what's happening. So we're definitely going to put Netta down. So I'm extra excited to see who you're going to put up against her.
And that was somebody from John. Is that John? When you mentioned John, you meant John Party.
Yeah.
He won
John
that
Party.
season, correct?
He
There
won that
were
season.
like a couple in there.
Yeah,
Yes,
he
okay.
cut her out.
Yeah, Netta's an incredible player. I mean, I got to play with her on season 5 when we both got the second time around. She's like Emmett said, she knows what's going on. She has that information. The thing about Netta, she'll cut you. Like, it doesn't matter. You could be your best friend. She's going to cut you. Whatever. She's ruthless. Whatever it takes to get ahead. Really good player. The way she sees the game is it blew my mind. Like, it was just really nice to be able to sit down with someone, break down the game, and have them like understand it the way that she did. It blew my mind. Obviously the season 5, run of Netta didn't go as well as her first time around, but you gotta, and this is one thing I want to bring up too. The first time you play, and I'm gonna bring this just real quickly here. The first time you play, nobody knows who you are, right? Nobody knows what you're about. Nobody's seen your DRs. Nobody knows your gameplay. No one. So everyone goes in the first time they see Netta. They don't see her as a threat. She's doing her thing. She comes back in season 5. She is the best player to ever play. She has the biggest target on her back going in. So you can look at it as there's an advantage to it because there's vets. There's also a disadvantage because there's a target. We don't know the 8 newbies. We've never seen them before. We don't know what they're about. So they have her resume in her hand. They have her playbook. They know what she's about. They know that how she sees the game. Yeah, she's a big threat. We got to get rid of her. And so I think the second time when you go back like that, especially when it was a half and half, was a big disadvantage because she was a walking target coming into the house.
She actually finished 3rd. Because John cut her at the final 3, right? He won it. And it's one of those things where most people, and this is nothing against John, everyone felt like Netta was running the season.
100%.
John was kind of her weapon. And then at the end, he made the right move because I do think if it was those two sitting in the final 2, maybe Bruno, you can speak to this. If it's Netta and John in the final 2, who are you voting for?
I think Netta would have won, man. To be honest,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Netta would have won, and it's so. We didn't plan this, guys. By the way, you're watching this.
I know exactly which person we're going to next because we do have one that matches up pretty darn good, and it happened pretty similarly.
Literally finished 3rd on her season. 100% could have won her season. Was the mastermind behind her season, but the person who won the final HOH knew that and cut her.
Do you remember the finale? What he said?
We were there.
Remember what he said for everyone to me?
What season?
He said, "I don't want." This is season 17, right after us, and he literally called out Cody because he's like, "I don't want to be." What do you say? I don't want to be.
He literally goes, "I don't want to make the same mistake as Cody."
And so he's we're sitting in the audience. That was rough.
Everybody like turned around and just goes, and I'm like, "Yeah, okay, I get it. It's okay. I'm here with him."
So no big surprise here. It's Vanessa Russo, great strategist, brilliant mind, another poker player, by the way, was in control of the season from start to end. The only mistake she made was not winning that final HOH against Steve. She lost. Steve realized that he was going to lose unanimously to her if he was sitting next to her. So he did the right thing. He cut her. She goes home number 3. She's yet to come back and play again. She ended up having a couple children, so I don't think she will. However, this is a hypothetical world we're living in. And I think she would have learned from her a couple mistakes she made as far as maybe jury management, but more importantly, just if you're going to be that controlling of a player, you got to win outright near the end. So Vanessa Russo is our 3rd woman for the season. I think that's a nice pairing between the two. And again, we didn't plan this. It's just the way it's working out.
Yeah.
We're just kind of throwing counter punches here.
And I'll also say this about Vanessa, and I'm happy that Big Brother US changed this. And I don't know how Big Brother Canada does it, but the final HOH, the 3rd part to the final HOH was a crapshoot. And there was no skill, no memorization, nothing to it other than let's guess and hope one of us get tilted in the right direction. And it favored us, Derrick and I, because the both of us were in it and we were taking each other. It doesn't favor someone like Vanessa who needs to win it, where if it was a different competition, and no, don't get me wrong, it was Hayden, correct?
It was Steve she went against.
Steve Moss, right? Steve was there. And I know that Vanessa would have been prepared for what the new Final 3 HOH final competition is. And it's like, how many vetoes did this person participate in? And like, name 2 truths and a lie. And it's very difficult. And you have to be prepared and studying the entire season, or else you don't win that. And it's less of a crapshoot. And I would have loved to have seen if Vanessa could have won that comp, because she would have been a great winner.
I just want to interject here. I'm going to say something, because my season finale night, I went up against Gary in the final comp, and it was basically a crapshoot. It's like, what was this person's strategy before they came in the house? How the fuck am I supposed to know that? You know, anyone could have beat me. Right. You know what I mean? Like a baby hitting A or B could have beat me. And after the show was over, I was fucking pissed. Sorry, should I say it again? I was like, I told
Blake him right out.
I told the producers that, like, Big Brother, you guys pride yourself on the smartest person should win this game, but you leave it up to chance in the very end. Mm-hmm. And ever since then, in Big Brother Canada, I'm not saying it was me that did it, but we've had a fact-based final comp. So it was fact-based. So if you studied in the house and you knew your stuff, did that. Like, to me, then the smartest person wins. It's not a crapshoot. So put the facts down. Whoever knows their stuff should be there at the end. Should have the choice.
Yeah. So who's paying attention? Who's making track of the days and all that? Yeah.
Yeah, it's just part of the game.
Yeah. No, I agree.
That's a good pick. I agree. Vanessa's a good pick. That's a good pick. So where are we at now?
So you got either one more female or you got 2 more males.
Let's finish off. Do you want to finish off the females?
All right, let's do it. All right. So sure. Our last female is Ika. We picked Ika Wong. Very good socially. She's a social player. Good at getting in people's heads, getting information, stuff like that. Obviously was paired up with Dimitri on season 5. That was a good duo. And that's the thing. If you can find your right duo, Ika's not known for her competitions, but she was known for her social skills, being able to manipulate a bit. And Dimitri took care of the competitions that kept her safe. So Ika would be our 4th female or 4th woman to play. And you got to have all aspects. You got to have all angles. It's not always about competitions. I think she brings the social side.
She brings a little fear factor. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like Ika's like our 4th liner who's like there, be like, hey, she's gonna pump the team up. You know what I mean? She's there. She's a big support system, and like again, she's got a great social game. She may not score a lot of goals, but you know what I mean. Trying to get her out of the house is going to be an absolute nightmare. And she is going to blow everything up on the way out. So you got to be prepared for that, and which scares a lot of people. You know what I mean? Some people physically just won't get rid of people because they're afraid of what is going to, come of it. So I think she's got the fear factor.
I know this person did have the fear factor because I played with her, but I also watched her other 2 seasons, and our last woman is Danny Donato. She played her first season with Evil Dick, who ended up winning that season. She ended up getting 2nd. She went back her 2nd time and was attached with Evil Dick, and then Evil Dick had to leave. So it kind of put her in a really, really bad situation. So she had to try to overplay, and it kind of blew up in her face on her 2nd season. In the 3rd season, she was killing it. She was easily the best player or one of the best players on the season, and it was known by me. I was like, and the fear factor that you mentioned was big for me. I was like, I cannot try to get Danny out or else unless it's the right time. And I knew when the right time would be, and it would have been a double eviction. I was like, only time I'd go after Danny is on a double because it'd be quick. She wouldn't be able to blow up anything because I divulged so much information to her as well. My game and so many other people's could have gotten blown up because she's that trustworthy and she's that in with a lot of people. Her social game is one of the best, but she's also literally like the veto queen. She has won such an obscene amount of competitions.
Her endurance on the wall, forget it.
On the wall, just veto. She wins when it's clutch. I remember on season 13, it was literally like everything blew up in her face. It was like, Danny, winner, you're going home. And she literally won that HOH. And then one of her allies won the next HOH. And it almost just prolonged the inevitable because it kind of didn't go her way once, Dick had to leave for medical reasons, but she is literally one of the most incredible players that has never won. And I think she could have won if Dick didn't just come out and have such a great way to finish everything that he was doing that seemed like such a menace and turn it into strategy on the first season. So I think she easily could be a winner if she ever played again. I know she probably will never play again, but she's definitely one of the best.
Yeah, Denny was, especially her first time around, was definitely one of my favorites on that season for sure. I remember cheering for her big time. I agree, great player, and you've played against her, so you have that kind of like, you understand what it's like to be in the house with her, and that's one thing we only know as viewers. But when you actually are face to face playing against these players, you have a different view on them because you know what it's like. And like you said, you gave a bunch of information. Now they have that information. You got to get rid of them without that information going around the house, and it could be a tricky line to cross sometimes for sure.
Totally.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Bruno
what's your next one?
Yeah, I just touched on this. Bruno touched.
No, go
on
ahead,
it.
Emmett.
Well, Bruno mentioned this a little bit beforehand. Like, again, this is Canada versus U.S. So I do want to put a few people in here that are going to be loyal. You know, as long as we can keep Ike and Netta at bay from fighting each other,
right?
You know,
that's all. I was gonna say. I wasn't gonna say it, but I was like,
this is a friend. We're all friends.
Okay.
This is a friendly Canada.
Friendly. Hopefully, we can put our differences aside. But I guess one of those people that's going to be loyal, and I think there's a few other people that we have in there. Like, I think loyalty does go a little ways, especially like you guys know what it's like because you guys were a pair. How like Cody, you felt Derrick was like a safe spot, and vice versa. You know what I mean? Like, how great does it feel to play the game with someone that you know is going to be loyal to you? It's just at the end of the day, you can come back and have a conversation with someone, and I feel like some of these players here that we kind of picked are like, I feel like they're going to be somewhat loyal. You know what I mean? They're not just going to go haywire like Kevin is this season. God, you never put that guy. I'd never put him on my team. You know, he may do all right, but he's going to screw everyone else along the way. So
he's getting there. He just wants to get himself there. That's all he cares about.
Yeah. I get some team players. We get some team players in here. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So next up for you guys, Emmett, is it you this time giving us your next male player? Yeah, because you just did Ika, Bruno. Mm-hmm. So who's your next male player? This is your third spot right here.
All right. I'm going to put this guy in, and Bruno and I kind of chatted about this. This guy's probably one of the most underrated guys, and I like him for another aspect. Not only was he great at comps and everyone loved him, but we haven't seen a whole lot of him. He played a long time ago, so he's kind of like the unknown to throw him in there that I think would do really well. And that's Zach. You know, he was, I think they called him Captain Canada in the house. He was just like...
he was like a college football player and stuff.
College football player. Everyone loved him. I just think that...
Good-looking dude.
He just had a lot more to give. And I think if you gave him the opportunity again, he would, probably learned a lot from his first season. You'd probably never, ever get him back in the house. But this is just, if I could draft him, I think I'd put him in there because I think he'd do really well.
Yeah, I say this all the time. I'm open about that. He is the most underrated player I've ever seen. I played against him. I played with him and against him on season 3. They called him Captain Canada. He's a CFL caliber quarterback, which is like, he's a very good athlete. Like, this guy is an unbelievable athlete. Very good looking. The girls loved him. The guys loved him. All the guys wanted to be his friend. All the girls wanted to work with him. Like, he had every single person in the house that wanted to work with him. Okay. And he literally could have picked and choose who he worked with. That is the magnetism. I talked about it earlier. Magnetism, charisma. Everybody loved this guy. Everybody's giving him the information. The guy could win comps when he needed to. He has one of the most destructive HOH reigns because one of his buddies goes home on his HOH, but that was just them overplaying. It was just overplaying a little bit. The guy understands the game. Like I say, he was so connected. He's like, they're not going to turn on me. I could do this and nobody's going to turn on me. Well, his biggest weakness was he forgot everybody else is playing too. And when you see there's a shot to take, you take the shot. And we did. That was the biggest weakness. But I'll tell you right now, this guy by far is the most underrated player. I'll say it a million times. Jacey-Lynne is unreal at Big Brother. Like I said, social, good looking, competition beast. Everyone wants to work with him one way or another. Everybody offered him an alliance one way or another. Everyone wanted to be at the end, like final twos, all that stuff. I'm telling you, total package, 100% total package, Jacey-Lynne.
Let me ask you, Bruno. This is a question for the court.
Let's hear it.
What spot did Zach go home?
He left in the he left. Oh man, he was like fifth.
And let me ask you, as a player that season, what was part of the reason you guys sent him home?
He left after me, my friend. He lasted longer than me. Here's the thing.
But what was the reason? Because
here's the thing. He was so athletic. He was a target from the day he walked in, but at the same time, everyone loved him. So it's like everyone loved. And here's the thing: with players like that, they're afraid to take the shot because if you miss, you're in trouble because you know this guy can win an HOH when his back's against the wall.
That's right.
So people don't want to take that shot because if they miss, they're done, and they know it. And the whole triple, and then that's how that all plays into it. And I don't want to get into that, but yes, it's like that's what it is. It's a player like that. He was so loved and so feared at the same time, which is just, it's crazy. It's crazy.
So fear, it's an interesting thing that you bring up there.
Derrick thinks he's got a speed on this one. He loves it, eh? He loves it. He's like,
I'm just saying, Zach was a great player, but from day one, as you said, Bruno, he was viewed as a threat, and he was someone who, honestly, unless he won outright, which you can't do really in Canada in either version because it's the way the game's designed.
Actually, I'll say this: I don't think he was that great at the time. I think I want to put him back in because I think.
He's good.
No, Cody, we already got Canada on the edge here, bro. We already got him on the edge.
It's game over.
Yeah.
No, Emmett's my guy. Emmett's my boy.
He made some mistakes, but I think going back, he's a different guy, but he's got all those same great qualities. So I'm putting him back in there for that reason because he left so much potential. Okay,
Zach's a surgeon. Like Zach's like a smart guy. He's like a legit.
I thought he was a quarterback.
He's a quarterback. He's a surgeon. He's like, dude, the guy has everything.
And he was like 6'4", 6'5". Yeah,
he's a weapon.
Smart.
Dude, I'm telling you, he literally, man, he's a full package. Like brains, brawn, everything. Like total package.
He's a problem. 100%. That's why he'd be a target for someone immediately.
Yeah.
And that's why I like the silent assassin. I like the person who's unassuming, the person who you look at and you go, I just want to hug you, buddy. And then that person goes in and smokes you in the competition and sends you packing.
And backstabs you because he's ruthless.
He is ruthless. And that is why our third spot goes to Tyler Crispin.
Oh, yeah.
Because Tyler Crispin is a great competitor. But when you look at him, and I've met him in person, I haven't played against him, but when you look at him in person, he's not someone you look at and you go, this guy's going to win every single comp. He looks like an unassuming surfer dude, but he's the nicest guy in the world. And if you saw his first season, his second season, you could see it. He wasn't there. In All-Stars, he was not the same Tyler Crispin from season one.
Right.
He wasn't in it to win it. I think he really missed Angela. He didn't really want to be there.
How did he do in his second season? How did he do in his second season?
He got far, though.
He got really far. He got farther than Zach. In an All-Star season.
I actually don't know.
My man Cody sent him home because
he got second his first time and then sixth his second time.
And honestly, he would have went further if he didn't pull, not to go in the weeds, but Cody really, stop me if I'm wrong, Cody. You really liked working with him, but he tried to pull a slick move and get out Nicole like a week or two earlier.
And the triple, and then didn't say anything, and then literally was trying to he just was like straight up lying, which was the good thing about having the relationships all over, because I knew the conversation he had elsewhere. Then he came and had the conversation, man. I'm like, yo, he's lying straight through his teeth to me. So I was like, all right, he's not my boy. So now I can't trust him, and he is an absolute animal. So there was no way to not send him home.
Cody pulled the fucking, he hit the nuke button. That was it. Game over.
You got to do what you got to do.
When you're going against one of the GOATs.
Yeah, Tyler's one of my favorites.
No, Tyler is absolutely.
But we love Tyler. Great player.
Yeah.
If I went in there with him, if I wasn't working with him, I'd be gunning for him right away, because that dude, if you saw the DRs and you saw him, he'd be in a conversation with you talking about how close you guys are, and then 5 minutes later he's in the other room with someone talking about how he's get the same relationship with them, and everyone felt like Tyler was their number one all the way to the end.
He had
I was
6 final twos, right?
Yep, he had 6 final twos. I was shocked he didn't win, but the only reason he didn't win is because he went up against someone who is a better player, and that's who we have on the list as well, Casey Clark. So Tyler's in the third spot for us. Yeah, 2 great players that season. Really got, he's got the complete package. I think if he came back again, he'd be coming back because he really did want to play, although from the conversations that I've had, there's 0 chance of him coming back. But again, just like Zach, it's we're living in a dream world here.
Right. Yeah. No, I think Tyler's amazing.
Yeah, I wasn't saying that to say I'm trying to throw him down. I couldn't.
No, totally.
I forgot that he was on Cody's season.
And to be fair, and he would tell you this, All Stars was not his best body of work. It really wasn't. Like
he did a
you
lot
could
to
just tell.
himself. He put a lot of like self-inflicted wounds. There was a lot of people. He was viewed as a threat, but there was a lot of people that wanted to work with him, and he did a lot of things because. And it was like, okay, we're getting to the point of jury. And it's like, I don't know. Tyler felt like, am I going to be in a position to win the game? I don't know if I am. So maybe I want to go home before jury. And he was like self-imploding. Then all of a sudden he got his head in the game. But at that point, it's like, dude, you don't have your head in the game for a split second. You fall behind, and he fell behind.
100%.
Yeah.
It's that
He made some calculations that were wrong for sure.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, I know.
I
think
think
great.
he played well in the beginning, right? And then kind of in the end.
He did. He was doing okay. Because you were working with him, Cody.
Yeah.
He had some good alliances set up, and I think he just pushed a little too hard. You know, I think we all have experience.
I'll tell you who it was. It was Danny. He didn't trust Danny at all and found himself in 2 big alliances with her and tried to plant seeds way too early in the game, and they blew up in his face instead of just like growing into like this amazing plan.
Mm-hmm. And there was a point where on the outside, we were like, it's his game to win. It's Cody's game. It was like neck and neck. Like there was a lot of people thinking he was going to win the season. So no, he's a good pick.
He's
and
a great player.
I'd love to see him play again and like be there 100%. But down to you guys. Final pick.
All right.
Who's it going to be for your 8th and final spot?
All right. Last spot.
The big one.
We're going with here, man. This is it. This is the last spot. It's our last male. You can't deny this. Dimitri, absolute monster. He had to learn the game quick. Season 5, he was on the block week 1, was 1 vote away from going home. And then went on an absolute tear. So we talked about it earlier with Ike and Dimitri. That was a good pair. One was running the social side. One was running the competitions. He's a good competitor. The guy was winning comps. He should never have been winning. It's like Emmett, man. This guy's a monster, dude. They're winning competitions. They have no business winning. And
you guys are deciding to put a showmance in there to start the game. Interesting.
I mean, let's reset everything. They don't know each other, and maybe let's see. But
Cody, I don't know if you know, but Dimitri just proposed.
Mm-hmm.
To Ike
the one that
BBCAN.
we just watched, that I just saw, the proposal that happened this season.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. The
And
guy
I will
was a beast
say, the showmances typically do very well. So you guys should be actually pretty scared.
100%.
That's why they get rid of them. That's why they get rid of them.
I'll be honest with you, man. Like, and no disrespect, but from our list, what I see, so I don't know. You're gonna say your last person in a minute, but I don't see. I mean, Canada.
We're gonna go over. We're gonna go over the stats.
All right, let's see it.
Cody, why don't you hit him with our last pick?
So our last one is another person on this list who, played twice, been in final 2 twice, robbed the second time completely, like absolute joke, and it was the clearest bitter jury that I've ever seen. Because you handed money to a person that was just so not deserving in comparison to him. Paul Abrahamian.
Yes.
Is an absolute beast when it comes to competitions. He is, I think, tied for, if not the top spot. Second twice.
Lost to Josh and lost to Nicole.
Lost to Nicole on his first season. And the reason why I love Paul, I don't love his style.
Don't give me that look, Emmett. I see what you're doing there. Oh, twice? Couldn't get it done? Oh, that's interesting.
But here's the thing, okay? So the first time, he had no idea what Big Brother was. He was recruited on the show. Learned the game, and like he had people that were shielding him that he used perfectly and then won a ton of competitions at the end. Was extremely well-spoken when it came to like manipulation or kind of swaying people his way. The reason why I didn't love his game was like he was kind of like rule by mob, and he would like ostracize people that had to go and like really want to make them feel like outcasts. Mm-hmm. And I don't love that, but he almost like it was like he like tamed everybody in the house, like how you like train dogs to like just like, if I raise my voice, you're going to cower down. And he did that with a lot of people. And that's like it's a different type of manipulation, but it's like in this day and age, it was like crazy to watch, but he did it. And then he went to the final 2 in the second season. And I think that was what his downfall was. People were bitter. People didn't like how he talked to people. People didn't like how he had to lie in his goodbye messages, which I think is absolutely asinine. He lied in his goodbye messages. So that's why you're not going to vote for him. That's just dumb. Right. I think he was extremely deserving and definitely should have won the game. But was another one. He was asked about coming back to All-Stars, and just after going through what he did twice in a row, he was like, psychologically, it's not it. We're during a pandemic. I'm not leaving. And he chose
guys,
not
look
to.
at it this way. Look at it this way. If we bring him back again, he's got to win the third time, right? That's my philosophy on it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's only one way to go, man.
What is it? Third time's a charm? Is that what it is?
Third time's a charm. I mean, come on. Statistically, it's in his favor. I mean, he's got to get one. They got to give him one just for the sympathy vote, you know? Like, hey, listen, man, we can't have you a runner-up for the third time.
It's tough.
I mean, but getting to the finals twice is like, I mean, it's a feat
hard.
itself, like that he was able to do that.
Cody, you've done
that.
I
will say this.
Crazy.
Going over the team real quick, I'm gonna go over your team real quick. We'll say the whole names. We got Jillian, Paris, Netta, Ika, Kevin, Dane, Zach, and Demetrius. And if I'm right, you guys have 4 winners out of your 8. Am I missing anybody?
Paris, Jillian, yeah, Dane,
4
Jillian,
winners.
Paris and Kevin, 4 winners.
4
Yep.
winners.
So 4 wins, 4 winners out of 8. That's pretty damn good. But you have no runner-ups, right? Because Netta didn't finish number 2. Ika didn't finish number 2. Zach not number 2. Dimitri finished what? He was well before number 2.
Third or
Fourth.
fourth,
Yeah.
third,
So-
fourth, something like that.
Third, fourth, something like
So you guys got us beat in the winner category. We have 3 winners. However, we have between Paul with his 2 final 2s,
Right.
we have 4 runner-ups. 4 runner-ups and 3 winners.
And
Wow.
and
Hey, we
then
all
2
know
third
we all know
place.
we all know everyone takes a sandbag to second anyway. The real winner is sitting third place. So
That has happened. And we have one of those
That's
too. We got
so good.
Vanessa there too if we need that.
and Danielle Reyes. Oh no, Danielle Reyes got second. Yeah.
Danielle got
5th.
she was a runner-up.
She got second and 5th.
Yep. And then we have Hayden. Tyler finished 3rd as well. Tyler and he was 3rd.
No, Tyler Crispin was second.
Second
Casey.
place.
Oh, that's right. So we
Second
had
to Casey
actually I'm
and
sorry.
6th.
So we have 5 runner-up spots out of 8.
I tell you, man,
that's
like-
pretty simple. Our 8 would absolutely
Oh,
steamroll
not
your
even
8.
close. Like, listen,
It'd be
I'm a little
like
disappointed.
final
that-
8 would be them, and all yours would have gone on.
I'll be honest with you. I'm a little disappointed at your 8. Like, they're good, but they're not great. You know, like they're good.
I see. Here's one thing I see about this. I see a lot of like individuals. Like I don't see any teamwork going on in BBUS. Okay, and I think you
Hold
guys
on,
will
time out.
self-destruct.
Let me just battle that
all right?
easy. Let me
So,
battle that
I
easy.
feel
Casey
strong
was
about our
in a
team.
huge alliance. Casey Clark was in a huge alliance. Their alliance was called like the something 6.
Forgettable,
There were 6 of
obviously.
them or something like that. Then Tyler was also in that alliance. Hayden was in one of the best alliances ever, and Dan is in one of the best duos, arguably, with the Renegade. So like we have a lot of people that know how to work amongst the group.
To be honest, I think we'd steamroll.
Yeah, and your last
Bruno?
pick, honestly, I wouldn't have put Paul on my team. He's not a team player, in my opinion.
He's definitely not a team player.
He's
That's
good.
fair.
He's
Time out. We
he's
know that.
good. He's good, but I wouldn't put him on my team. Like I think he's actually
so
going
this
to
is
be
what we're gonna do.
detrimental.
This is what we're gonna do. You guys got a couple minutes.
Okay.
I want you guys to name 2 BBUS players that you would have put on our team, and Cody and I are going to give you 2 BBCAN players.
I'm out of
Eric-
this.
I got you
Eric
covered, bro.
Stein,
That's why we're the hitmen.
I'm
That's why we're the
surprised.
hitmen.
Baby. I
I'm
appreciate
surprised
you.
not to see Eric Stein on that list, to be honest with you, man.
Eric Stein. Okay,
Eric
great
Stein.
player. Eric Stein.
Yeah.
Who else? You got need
You
one
say-
more
You say
Go
that
for it,
aren't
Emmett.
on the list, or that?
that aren't on the list that you're surprised that we didn't put on it.
Oh,
I think
Um,
Dr. Will's like a given, but I'm going to say Eric Stein. That's my pick. Eric Stein.
The thing about Dr. Will is we know Dr. Will's one of the most entertaining players of all time, but I don't know, like, one, if that would work again. It's
I
kind of
don't
like
think it- in
Netta.
modern-
And 2,
yeah.
he doesn't win competitions.
Right.
He's like known for not winning competitions. So he has a big presence, and one of your BBCAN guys would take him out like week 1 or 2.
I think
He'd be
modern
gone.
Big Brother, if he played again, he'd just get targeted and see you
He
later.
gets smoked.
Yeah,
he gets
100%.
smoked. Can you imagine him against Dane?
Right. But I would say
Over.
for me,
So-
I'll pick one. I'm going to say Eric Stein, hands down. I'm surprised that he's
Great
on that
player.
list. Yeah.
Who would you have filled in? Who would you have taken off our list and put on for him?
Who did you have? You had Hayden, Tyler, Paul,
and
And
Dan.
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 and who? Sorry.
Dan Giesling.
And Dan, dude, that's a good 4. I'd probably take
It's
Paul
easy,
out for
Paul.
that. Even though Paul's
Paul's
a really
gotta
good
go,
player,
yeah.
but I would take Paul
It's a
out.
solid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Paul's got to go. Emmett, anybody else, or you want to stick with one guy? Anybody else you would replace him with that you're a fan of
I'm
BBUS wise that you're like, dude, I would have had him.
I'm trying to think who else was good with you guys. I can't think of anyone else.
I don't know. We pretty much nailed it, so it might be hard for you.
I'll be
I
honest,
mean,
that'd
like
be a good-
honestly,
so-
you got Dan and Hayden. Those are 2, and Tyler.
Beasts.
I mean,
Mhm.
yeah. I mean, from what you guys were able to pick, it doesn't. I mean,
Right.
it doesn't get much better.
Just say it. It's okay. It's a squad. We
Yeah.
get it. We know.
Hey,
We know it's a squad.
it's a good team. It's a good team. I'm not going to say
Let
it's
me hit you with a couple people. Let me hit you guys with a couple
Okay.
people because I
Yes,
do
what you
have
were
a couple
doing
people.
earlier.
I
Yeah.
mean,
Cody
John
was so
Party.
mad.
Where's John Party on this list?
John
'Cause
Party
he was
was-
winning
yeah.
a ton of comps.
Every
John's
list that I Googled, John Party was on every single
That's what I'm
one of them.
saying. Where's
Yeah,
John
everyone.
Party?
Yeah, no disrespect
So-
to John. John's my good buddy of mine.
Yeah.
but-
Poker player, smart, won his season, absolute beast in comps. Talk to me, guys. Zach
So-
over John Party. I
Zach,
think John's
dude.
gonna be texting you guys.
Listen,
Yes.
man, John's a very good friend of mine, but I'll tell you right now, Zach to me is number one on this list. Zach is like the
Whoa.
guy on this list. Oh,
Whoa,
yeah.
John, are you hearing this, John?
Yeah, no,
Okay.
Zach is the guy, dude. Like I
He got-
agree
I-
that you guys.
Zach, I won't say Zach's number one on this list, but I just, from all the people that I've met, and maybe you guys can say this too, is like, and we talked about this earlier. If you are good socially, you will do well. I just think he just had a run of bad luck in his first season. I put him in there solely because a lot of people don't know about him, and I think he's like, I'm throwing him in there because I think he's just going to do well. I think he's someone who's super underrated. Everyone knows John Party. Everyone knows that guy.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone knows he's coming out. He's going to be funny. He's going to be goofy. Could he make the list? He very well could be on the list. He's a great player, but everyone knows him. Everyone knows him. And to me, he's not. Dimitri's a better comp player than him. Who else we got? Dane's better, and Kevin's smart as fuck. So where does he fit? So for me, I was like, he just didn't make this team.
See, for me
Well,
too.
I got
it's-
another one for you guys.
Okay, let's hear
I'm
it.
not letting you off the hook. Yeah, I got another
All
one
right,
for you
let's
guys.
hear it.
Who
You're
you
still
got?
under the gun here, okay? 41 days in the house. She won 4 competitions, 2 HOHs, and 2 vetoes.
Talking Erica, Kayla.
Erica?
Yeah, she was she
Erica?
was on the list. She was there. It was Erica and
Yeah,
Kayla were the next two.
Was she though, Bruno?
She was. She was. Erica and Kayla were right there. It was actually she was on the list, and then we're like, because we don't want to just go all comps. We don't want to just, you got to spread it out.
No,
hear-
it's all
I
right. You
hear
guys
a
are
lot
getting
of-
smoked
yeah,
in comps.
you
I
gotta
got
I
it.
hear a lot of
You gotta spread
backpedaling
it
right
out.
now. A lot of like, wait, hold on.
You know?
John
Yeah,
is
Bert.
should be on the list, but isn't
No,
on the list.
I'll tell you
I'm
about
happy
John,
with the
like I
list.
said.
I'm happy with the list.
Yeah, I'm happy. with
Don't.
this.
We're not.
John's a very
backpedaling
good
here.
buddy of mine in the real world. Okay, John's like
All
my
right.
boy. Okay,
Yeah, Bruno,
but
don't you
again,
be
it's
That's
like
all
backpedaling,
right.
in the
right? We
house.
Just
ain't
make sure everyone who
backpedaling.
sees this, everyone who sees this, just make sure you tag John Party at John
Yeah.
Party.
Tag John.
We're
Yeah.
getting ready.
No, so it's like, but
I'm
in
going to war
Big
with
Brother,
this
it's
team.
like we try to go for like total packages and stuff, or like different strengths. John's a very social guy, very good competitor, but didn't understand. And it's not a shot, but with Netta there filling those holes, it worked. If Netta wasn't, giving him that game, he didn't understand the game. He didn't know the game going in. He was literally green to it all. So she was kind of coaching him, not giving her the credit over him. I'm not doing that, but it's like she was kind of teaching him the ropes as he was going along. But John's social skills and everything else helped Netta too. So it's a 50-50 relationship. They worked off of each other. So there's no, that's what this game is about. Like again, Ika Dimitri, great duo as well. One is strong in one suit, the other strong in the other. You put them together, it's the total package. And that's what it was. So I think John's a really good player, like really, really, really good player. But
just not good enough for your list.
not good
Just
enough.
not good enough for your
That's
list.
it.
You get it.
John,
I'm
you get
fine.
it. John, you heard it here
Four,
first.
Yeah.
Yeah, not good enough. No.
So let's run down the team one more time for you guys at home, so you can weigh in the comments. We're gonna have a poll up on the Winner's Circle. It's at the Winner's Circle, Winner's Circle Cast. It's
Correct.
it's at Winner's Circle Cast.
Right.
So once again, Team US is Dan, Paul, Tyler, Hayden, Danielle Reyes, Casey, Vanessa, and Danny Donato. For BBCAN Team Canada, it's Jillian, Paris, Netta, Ika, Kevin, Dane, Zach, Dimitri, 2 absolute squads. Would sign up tomorrow, would pay to watch that. I think all 4 of us can agree at some point, BBCAN producers and BBUS producers, they already talk to each other. They already work together. Guys, we know that you're watching this. You got it. It's time to make it happen.
Mm-hmm.
That would be an absolute blockbuster. And listen, let's do it in the US, because I will say this, and stop me if I'm wrong, Emmett or Bruno, but BBCAN numbers are a little bit down, right? The ratings are down. I think it would be an absolute surge to your guys, the show up there, because it's a great show. Arissa's an amazing host. To have that exposure, to get people in the US to know the Canada players would be great for you guys. It would be great for us. It would boost ratings, because US, who doesn't like 2 countries going at it?
Right.
So I think we all agree we need to see it.
I think what they
it's
need to
gotta
do
be
is
done in
the
the
Americans
US.
host it.
Yes.
Yeah, I
It
think
has
the
to be done in
Americans
the
need to
US
host it.
because you Americans
Go ahead.
can't watch the Canadian version.
Yeah, it's
That's
so
right.
tough. We were talking about this today.
Yeah.
It's just too
Hands
difficult.
down, it's got to be
Or
done here.
they can make it like a over the top where it's streaming live on Paramount Plus, which we're already seeing Big Brother Canada is getting put on Paramount Plus. So if
Right.
you want to watch previous seasons of Big Brother Canada, it is on Paramount Plus if you pay for that subscription. And so I think it would be cool to do it like an over the top style where
See,
you
yeah,
watch it live
stream-
on Paramount Plus, you stream it, maybe it does, and they see what the numbers are because the numbers would be huge for that, I think.
Oh, massive!
Dude, I'd be
massive.
Honestly,
massive.
So
I agree.
I think it would be one of two things. Either A, open up your pocketbook and put out whatever money you need to put out to get these players to come. Or if you openly put these type of players in the house, like the biggest US names and the biggest Canadian names, and you said, hey guys, we're not going to offer you crazy amounts of money, but I'm going to give you the opportunity. We're going to go best versus best on the biggest network. Lots of eyes. Do you guys just want to do it? It's almost like the Super Bowl where they don't pay people to perform at the Super Bowl, but you want to be there.
I would say no, pay me money or I'm not coming on the show.
Dude, it's a long time.
I think they have the money. They need to open.
Yeah,
I agree with
they
your
have
first
the
sentiment.
money.
They need to open up their wallets and pay.
So here's
And for you guys in Canada, it's like $20
yeah, right.
before time.
So I can tell you something. If they did it on the American network, but had our competition smoke you guys out of the water, hands
Agreed.
down. Like
I love
our
Big Brother
production
Canada
level is.
Although
through the
I
roof.
love Heath. I love Heath, the producer. I do think BBCAN comps are fresh,
Oh,
new,
yeah.
innovative. I can't
100%.
disagree with
the
you.
house designs, the competition designs, all that
Yep,
stuff. They
I agree.
always change it up. So
BBUS is very stale.
yeah,
I agree.
100%. So if they put our competition producers in there and design team in there, but the Americans handle all the other stuff, the network, it would be a blockbuster. I mean, you got to
Dude,
work
be- should
together.
be a
Just that right
collaboration.
there.
And, yeah.
That's never going to happen. The egos
Of course.
in
Of
Hollywood,
course.
they're going to be like this. No, our competition producer is going to do it. And then Kennedy's going to be like, no, we want them to be like, no.
Heath just retired. Heath just retired.
maybe
To be
maybe
honest,
there's an
you
opening.
guys don't need us. We need you guys. You don't need BBCAN. BBCAN needs BBUS viewership. It's that's,
I think the
that's
viewers.
way it
I think
is.
the viewers need it though. We need that.
Absolutely.
We need that BBUS versus BBCAN.
But I'm
A
saying is the
few
ball's in the
seasons
Americans'
ago-
court.
A few seasons
Go ahead,
ago,
Mike.
I do believe Trevor Boris, who did a lot of, was in charge of Big Brother Canada's challenges, actually
Comps.
went, he went over and did challenges for the U.S. But then he's like,
For like
and
one
he was
season.
him and Heath were working together.
but I think the problem, he didn't like it, and again, because they're so constricted, like they still, like I don't think, maybe it was Heath, I don't know, or people above Heath, they didn't have much freedom to do what they wanted to do.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
in
I
Canada,
see.
they have
It's old
more
school. There's a
freedom.
lot.
Yeah, it's old school.
Although
So-
you guys are always sticking the players in Speedos, and I don't know what that's about, but that's a whole different conversation for
True.
a different day.
This is
Always
true.
sticking you guys in Speedos. What is the deal with that?
It's the,
But,
way, it's the way we roll,
I
man.
don't know there.
I mean,
Put me in a Speedo and I
I
will
mean,
slip
why?
and slime everywhere.
why?
Yeah.
So I think that's it. It's in your hands now at home, guys. BBUS versus BBCAN. You know the teams. We'll probably put them in the description of something, right, Cody? So they know the
I'll add
teams.
those in there. Just
You
send me
guys
the full
have it.
names.
Bruno, we appreciate you being on. What's your Twitch real quick so everyone can go check you out on gaming?
Twitch.tv/Capone Gaming. It's KAPONE and then gaming, GAMING. You'll see Cody on there. I'm always carrying him in Call of Duty and stuff, just showing him the ropes and stuff, usual stuff. But yeah, Capone Gaming on Twitch.
And Emmett, I
It is
know
very
that
entertaining. I pop in all the time.
you have your river rafting. What's the name of the river rafting company for anybody watching from Canada? Because we do have a lot of Canadians that watch the show.
Yeah, River Wranglers. If you're in the East Coast and you're thinking about doing something adventurous, there's nothing more East Coast or unique to Canada than tuttable rafting. So if you're looking for a good time, come see me, River Wranglers.
Absolutely. And Emmett, what's your social?
It's just my first and last name, Emmett Blois. So you can hit me up on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. Just getting in the TikTok game, guys. I know I'm late.
There we go.
Let's go.
There we go.
Yeah.
And Bruno, you gave your IG, right?
Whatever. It's Bruno. I don't even know what it is. Bruno Aiello, BBCAN, something like that. Just look me up, Bruno Aiello. You'll
Bruno,
find
you gotta
it.
get
not
rid of the
active on
BBCAN.
Instagram.
You gotta get rid
Dude,
of the
I don't
BBCAN.
use
Yeah, the
it. I don't
BBCAN.
use
Yeah.
it. That's the thing. I don't use it. So that's why I say, it's something like that. It's an old one I don't use very much. So
Twitch, if you want to catch up, if you want to be with Bruno, he's
Yeah.
on Twitch.
That's
every
you can see
night.
his Twitch setup. You look at see him with
Every
his Thor gauntlet.
Yeah.
What do you call it? The gauntlet?
Infinity
The
Gauntlet.
The gauntlet.
Yeah.
Cody, final words from you?
No, man, this was a blast. I think our team absolutely embarrasses their team any day of the week. I think we might lose one in the role of it, but you let us know down below in the comments. And if you made it to this point in the video, give us a cheese in the comment section for how bad this Big Brother Canada team stinks. So if you made it to this point in the video, get some cheese in the comments, and we really do appreciate it.
Tell you, I would have put
For some of our late listeners that go an hour and 20 minutes, throw a cheese in that comment.
I would have put. I'll just be honest with you, I would have put Emmett on that list, and I was actually surprised not to see him on season 5.
No doubt, Emmett. That's why we wanted to make it. We didn't put ourselves in there because obviously, we're all confident in ourselves. No, that's weird. That's weird. We'll let somebody else do that list. Somebody else can do a follow-up video to this. But listen, we appreciate Bruno and Emmett joining us here in the Winner's Circle. We appreciate you guys joining us as well, as always. And if you guys keep tuning in, we have an eviction basically happening in less than 24 hours.
Yeah,
so stick around. We'll be coming out with a new video shortly. We appreciate you joining us on the Winner's Circle. We'll see you next week.